All right, let's take a look at the top-down viewed example project, and I guess I should lead off here by actually running it, so you can see it. It's Playback. This was recorded on an iPad, and once this is over, we'll go take a look at some of these objects that you're seeing on screen now, as they are laid out in tiled. So there's a little table there that I bumped into, and that just put up a pop-up message. You can also show people pop-up labels to describe whatever they're encountering in the game. And of course, that's helpful for an RPG game to just kind of, give people clues about things in the scene. It doesn't have to be an object. That could have been a villager or something like that that's going to tell me where to go find some gold chest hidden on another level. And you can see I've picked up another follower, so I kind of slipped through the crack in the wall and found a hidden guy in here. And of course, your following characters can appear visually any way you want. They don't have to be an exact duplicate of the lead character, but and at some point in there, I changed out who was in the lead, and you can do that by double, triple, or tapping with 4 fingers, and the video just kind of stops right there. And that's something that you can do with a button as well. And any of the controls in here, moving this guy around could be done with buttons, or kind of a virtual D-pad on the screen. For a top-down view game like this, where you're not jumping and things like that, I think it runs pretty well with just swiping the screen. And of course, I think it looks nice not to have to worry about the virtual D-pad. So you got your inventory up here as well. I collected money at some point. He's got some health from a previous level, and you can choose to equip the character with different weapons. You can change out any of the properties of the character by just kind of reloading an entire character dictionary. So his speed could be increased, his health, his kind of ability to damage objects, all that can be put in here as a booster, so to speak. All right, so let's take a look at the tiled file here, and just by seeing it on screen here, I think you get a good idea of what's going on. But what you can do is you can just basically select things, move them around, save the file, and republish it, and those changes are noted in the level itself. And one thing you'll need to always do with your levels is just put in here a starting point. Your character can start in relation to this starting point, so I could program it so that he appears up here initially, or over here, whatever it is, or just dead center works as well. And so here are the enemies. Obviously, they any of these objects don't need anything more within the tile file other than the kind of class or grouping. These are just objects, and their key name as it appears in the property list, which is over in Xcode. So there's no settings inside a tile that you have to worry about other than kind of these two right here. So things like making him randomly roam around, that's something that's done back in Xcode with the property list. All very simple properties to put in there. And let's see, this, even though you can't really see it unless I move one of these things around, see that little line right there? There's a big square around this entire thing, and that is defining the tiles that you probably just saw in the background, hopefully. Let me see if I can get that video back up. There it is. So those tiles right there, the repeating patterns, and they don't, of course, have to look so tiled. You can put in there any image and have that repeat. You can even include in there a transparent PNG file, and you could have it tile only or repeat only horizontally. But in this case, it's just kind of taking up this entire area right here, and you can set how small or big each one of the individual tiles are as well. So it doesn't have to be the exact same size as the source image. So you can kind of tinker with that after the fact if you just want to see a few changes. And then let's see. So I tucked in there that other following character. That's where he appears. And let's see. We've got our animated lights up here, and if your objects can be animated. And then one thing that's kind of cool, which is maybe not too obvious, this object right here, this part of the wall is not actually being used as an object that has a physics boundary to it. Okay, these ones are all these little squares over here because their artwork works well for having a square boundary around it. But for this one, right, we got this little bit of a corner here, and I wanted the character to be able to walk into that corner. Alright, so if I just set this as the entire boundary, physics boundary, that wouldn't work because he would get to, about there, and he wouldn't be able to move forward. So what's going on is I'm just using these edges or lines over here, and I'll move that away so it's a little clearer. There it is. Just right there is what actually defines that boundary. So let me hit undo on this, and what I'll do is I'll just show you how easily you can set up your own boundaries with the polyline tool. So all you gotta do is just draw over here however you want, and there we go. You can even have the lines crisscross, doesn't matter. And that right there, as soon as we gave it a name, let me just select it so I can see where it is in the, there it is. You just put in here edges, and boom, oops, over in Xcode, it will know now that the character cannot collide with those lines. So very simple to set up odd-shaped boundaries. And I'm just going to go and delete that before I forget about it and resave this file. Okay, that's all we'll talk about for now.